All right, so it's 2026, so a brand new year, a brand new start for many of us. And you're probably wondering, what should I focus on this year when it comes to creating content, when it comes to the platforms, when it comes to social media? What platform specifically should I focus on? Should I stick to Facebook, to Instagram, X, Twitter, Threads? Should I go on TikTok and start doing videos? And for me as a writer, and this is something that I've been pushing for writers particularly. The platform that I would recommend right now is actually YouTube. Now, so why YouTube? Why start a YouTube channel in 2026? Whether you're an artist, a creative, a photographer, videographer, or even a writer. Well, for me personally, my main specialty when it comes to creativity is writing. And the reason I choose YouTube, or I'm choosing YouTube, both this year and the years to come, is for many reasons. And then just to give you a little bit of background, I've worked in digital marketing for almost 10 years now. I've done it all. I've done it YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. So I've gone through all of them and I've marketed different products, different businesses, different services throughout these different platforms. And for me personally, a lot has changed over the years. Facebook isn't what it was back then. Same with Instagram, same with Twitter, same with all the other social media platforms that have come and gone. But one thing more or less stays the same, and that's YouTube. So now, why? Why YouTube? Why, out of all these social media platforms, would I recommend that you start a YouTube channel in this day and age? Now, if you're an artist who's posted on Instagram, Facebook, you've probably noticed that, your posts, you make these sketches, you made these paintings, and you post them out on Instagram, and you barely get any views. What's worse, even, is that your posts last maybe a day or so, right? And the fact of the matter is that's the reality when it comes to most social media platforms. In fact, when you look at the stats themselves, the half-life of a post on these different platforms is very short-lived. So when we say half-life, this is the total time it takes for a post to reach around 50% lifespan, engagement, and reach. So the 50% mark. For example, on Twitter, so your half-life would be around 49 minutes. For Facebook, it's 81 minutes. For Instagram, it takes a bit longer, around 19 hours. Now for LinkedIn, it's around 24 hours. So you get a day on LinkedIn. Basically, your post gets a whole day on LinkedIn. Now, on the longer end of these, you have YouTube, where your posts last around 9.7 days. On Pinterest, your posts will last around 3.9 months. Now, if you write a blog, well, your blog articles can last around 1.97 years, so almost 2 years actually. And that's the stats for the half-life of your posts. So whatever content you create on Facebook, Instagram, on X, you get a day at least. But if you post content on Pinterest, on YouTube, or even on your own website, you get several days, months, up to years. Now for TikTok and Reels, it's a bit different because there's a different discoverability algorithm that runs Instagram Reels and TikToks. So there are instances where you may have posted a piece of content several days ago, several months ago, and suddenly it'll pick up and become viral after several weeks, So that happens on TikTok and Instagram. But even with that said, you think about the discoverability of YouTube and Pinterest. These two platforms work essentially as search engines. So when you're looking for specific things on a social media platform, YouTube and Pinterest will likely be able to show you what it is you're looking for. And so because of this, your discoverability, or the reach, the potential reach you have with your posts, with your art, actually is much wider, much more broader. And so when you think about it, you spend so much time creating the thing that you want to create, whether that's a sketch, a painting, a piece of music, or a photo that you took, that you've edited. You spend so much time creating these things, creating your art. only for them to last like a day. It's really not worth it when you think about it. And so this is why I encourage people to start a YouTube channel. Because at least here on YouTube, there's much more discoverability. It's easier to search for things. It's easier to find things. Because the problem with many and a lot of social media platforms is this hamster wheel. People will keep telling you, post every day. In fact, on Twitter, post several times a day. Even on Instagram, they require you to post several times a day. And this requires you to create dozens of sketches, create dozens of photos. And while sometimes that may be doable, it's also a recipe for burnout. And once you burn out, you lose all the momentum you've had building that audience. At least with YouTube, the longevity is more sustainable. In fact, most YouTubers will tell you to at least just post once a week. Once a week of content. Once a week of your art. And I get it. I mean, if you're a photographer, if you're a painter, you probably don't see how this becomes relevant for you, even if you're a writer. But when you think about it, you could just post you creating your piece of art. It could be a screen capture of if you're doing digital art, you just screen capture yourself drawing your art and then show them the finished product afterwards. For writers, it's basically what I'm doing here. So my plan has always been to turn the articles that I write, and while I publish them on a blog, I also turn them into YouTube videos or YouTube scripts. So basically the topics that I cover here are the same as the ones in the articles I write. And so I'm just turning my essays into videos, essentially. And the potential for them to reach more people is much greater than if I would have just posted my articles or snippets or quotes from my articles on Instagram. I mean, you can't even search the articles on Instagram, and you won't find these articles on Instagram. And Instagram doesn't even allow links unless they're in your stories. In fact, when you think about Facebook and LinkedIn in particular, they actually minimize or lessen your reach if you include a link in your post. This is why you'll notice that blogs nowadays, on Facebook especially, they no longer post links. They put the link in the comments. Because what Facebook does specifically is it really, really limits the reach of your post whenever you include a link that takes them out of the Facebook platform. Because what do these guys want? They want more money generated from people staying on the platform. Same with LinkedIn. If you write an article on your blog and you post it on LinkedIn, chances are you'll get less reach just because of the link. Just because that link exists, rather than you post your article directly on LinkedIn. And this is why I encourage artists and writers to try YouTube. Now, I get it. You may be camera shy. You may not be used to speaking in front of a camera, in front of audience. Most artists are introverts. And, that's fine. But the thing is, you don't even have to be a great video editor to start a YouTube channel. You think about this video. I'm just in my son's room, obviously. I'm recording a video in my son's room because it's the quietest room in the house. And I'm just on my phone. And you'll notice that the editing here is actually very minimal. And I've seen a ton of creators do the same thing. Some people, they record their videos while they're on a hike, while they're walking around. Some, they record their videos in their car. And these guys have tens of thousands of subscribers supporting them and following them. And they're actually making a living off of their YouTube channel. Whether that YouTube channel is driving them to a product or a course that they're selling, or it's just ad revenue. But the thing is that the barrier of entry is really low at this day and age. People are no longer looking for the highly edited videos. You don't have to be a super videographer. You don't have to have lots of B-roll. You don't have to have incredible editing skills. All you need is your camera, your microphone, and the ability to speak or share what it is you're experiencing, what it is you've learned, and all the lessons that you've acquired throughout the years. another reason why I encourage writers and artists to start a YouTube channel is because it's the fastest and the easiest way to reach an audience that is increasingly reliant on video. I mean, more and more people are watching videos these days than they are reading. I mean, that's a reality. Even for me as a writer, it's a sad reality, but it is a reality. And that's why I've decided to turn my writing into videos. And so, when you think about podcasts are also on the rise these days because people are encouraged, or they've gained the habit of listening. I mean, they could be doing their laundry, they could be cooking, they could be doing other chores, but they're still listening to podcasts. And it's something that YouTube makes us accessible as well. I mean, they don't have to always be staring at your other screens to listen to you while you're speaking. So you don't have to be super conscious when you're on camera when you think about it, because not everybody actively listens and watches you while they're listening to you. And lastly, there's actually this thing called faceless YouTube channels, where these are channels where the creators don't even show their faces. It's just them speaking into the mic, and then they have something that's playing over, whether that's B-roll, whether that's them doing chores without their face being seen, their faces are cut off, or sometimes it's just people sharing their Minecraft playthroughs while they're speaking. And at the same time, these are still getting a ton of views, these faceless channels. So even if you're just exercising your voice, you still have the potential to reach people, even if they don't even see your face. And so this 2026, as we draw closer and closer to more people consuming video rather than text, I encourage you, whether you're a writer, an artist, start a YouTube channel. Just document your process, even if that's all you do on your YouTube channel. There's a YouTube channel for everything, basically. There's a YouTube channel for DIY stuff. So why not the same with art? Why not the same with the writing? Put your stuff out there. There's tremendous potential on YouTube. And I believe that this 2026, there's even more potential for growth for a lot of creators and artists. Because when you think about it, your art deserves more than just a few minutes of screen time. It deserves more than just a scroll through. It deserves more than just a day. It deserves more attention. So stop settling for the 49 minutes, for the 81 minutes, for the 24 hours, when you can actually give your art the attention it deserves by putting it on a platform that actually cares about users more than ads that people pay to reach their audience. What's more, you don't deserve to run around that social media hamster wheel all your life, just chasing after likes, just chasing after views. You deserve a platform where you can actually build a following over time and keep it and retain it, regardless of whether you stop posting for a while or not. So if you're looking for a way to increase your reach this 2026, I highly recommend YouTube. In fact, I encourage you to also subscribe to follow my journey here on YouTube, just so you'll be able to see, whether or not my advice really works. But if you're also looking for some help when it comes to marketing your YouTube videos, I have a copywriting ebook that I'm selling over on Gumroad. You can click the link in the description below, and it'll take you to an ebook I wrote that contains my copywriting formula. So this is a formula that I use and that I formulated to be able to write my titles, my scripts, my articles, and whatever marketing materials I need. So it's a whole formula meant for everything that deals with copywriting. So if you're interested, check that out in the description below.